Hello, hello, my lovely friends. How is everyone doing today, my darlings? I have missed you all so much, but I just needed to take a little break in between things and get in some extra cuddles because, unlike some fraudulent parents, some of us in this world are real parents. And as you guys are coming into the chat and as you guys are coming to watch this live, make sure you say hello to the mods, hit that like button, because we are going to go over Harry's version of Archofficial's birth story. And I figured, for some strange reason, I've always wondered why we've never heard Meghan Markle's version of the birth story, considering allegedly she's the one who's claiming that she gave birth, even though we all know she didn't. But we have never heard her tell her story. We've never heard her mention anything because, let's be honest, if Meghan Markle was actually pregnant, she wouldn't shut up about it. It's so funny how Meghan loved pretending to be pregnant. She was terrible at pretending because she couldn't even get the timing right. She couldn't even get the looks of the belly right. Apparently, she was making it seem like, we remember this, when they were in Australia. She was less than I don't know, you would have been like a few weeks pregnant. It would have been a tiny, tiny pea-sized little thing in your belly. And yet Meghan was crutching and cradling something, pretending like, oh, my belly just grew overnight all of a sudden. Who could forget this? This to me was a red flag. This is what Meghan Markle was about. Instead of going on royal trips and representing the royal family, Meghan always found a way to make it about herself. All the headlines was about Meghan and her fake belly bump. How does a belly grow from looking really flat and then it gets big at nighttime? You know why? It never happens. It's not true. There was so much mess around Meghan Markle and her acts of pretending to be a pregnant woman that it's just so obvious. And the fact that she knows the royal family aren't going to say anything about this is why she keeps playing these stupid games. This is why her and Harry think that we are so dumb that we won't even know what is going on. But then again, Meghan Markle is not the only woman to have ever given birth. Maybe she has, you know what? I've actually heard something interesting, a little bit of Chinese whispers, I should say, or gossip going around. I don't know how true it is, but let me give you a little bit of insight here. There's a little bit of whispers going around because everyone has heard the allegations that Meghan had a child with the first man that she married, which was quickly annulled, right? Apparently, that child has now had a child, and it is being alleged that Meghan Markle is actually a grandmother, which that would make Doria Ragland a great grandmother. I've been hearing this story going around, and I don't know what I think much of it, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up and let you guys know. But just saying. John Massive, thank you, my darling, says hanging at the beach and listening to Molly. Life is good. Oh, the beach. I've got errands to run, but I would love to be on the beach right now, covered in tanning oil and just lazed out with a drink in my hand. But I am so glad you are on the beach and enjoying yourself, John. Have one for me, or maybe a bottle of water if you don't drink. Hi, Molly, to go towards a treat for Monster. Thank you, Christine. That's very sweet of you. Maybe I'll stop by the pet store a little bit later today or tomorrow. Depends. But of course, I always show you guys when I buy Monster a new toy or something. But thank you, my darlings. And yes, happy Memorial Day to those who are in the States. And we should all take a moment to remember the men and women who, gave up the ultimate sacrifice. And I did put up a message about this on my YouTube community tab. If you guys didn't see it, let me pull it up here, because I try and remember these kinds of dates, because these are special dates that you need to remember. I mean, these are people who laid their life on the line for us, who would probably be rolling in their graves today if they saw what was going on in the world today. That's for sure. They'd be wondering, like, I gave up my life for this. But yeah, I would basically like to say, so I wrote a note saying, on Memorial Day weekend, we honor and remember the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice, bravely serving this country. And yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. It makes you think every time. Anytime Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Anzac Day, all of those come along, it just stops and makes you think, like, so much has changed in this world. But yes, I just wanted to, yes, we remember all of those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, always. So hello to everyone who's coming into the chat. Hello, hello. Let's talk. At least Meghan isn't trampling on graves today. It's funny that she hasn't done anything today, right? Surprisingly, she hasn't done any kind of tribute for them or nothing. Maybe she will now. You know what's crazy though? I don't know if you guys saw that recent video that Meghan just put up with some child that we are supposed to believe is Invisibet walking towards a beehive with the song in the background from the Archies, Sugar Sugar. And it gave me the total creeps, because I'm like, what have we been talking about here for the last week? The candy and all the sugar that I've been eating. And it's just like, is this woman psycho? What? I'm sorry. I just make these little connections sometimes, and I'm just like, okay, this woman is quite the creep. Who knows? But let's get into this, shall we? Because I've been wanting to talk about this since Meghan wants to bring up her ridiculous pregnancies. Let's talk about her ridiculous pregnancies, shall we? This was on January 10th, 2019. I don't know about you guys, but when I was pregnant, okay, when I sat down, my belly never went flat or squished, nor could I cross my legs tightly because, well, number one, it was super uncomfortable. It literally would feel like your crotch would be on fire. Okay. If you tried to keep your legs crossed for a long amount of time after you pass a certain time of your pregnancy and your belly pops out, it hurts. Okay. It hurts. So we're supposed to believe on January 10th, 2019, when Meghan was making a visit to, which charity event was this? It was one, I think it was SmartWorks. Yes, it was SmartWorks. The belly went flat. And then later on, when Meghan visited what was it? An arts gallery. I mean, it was like an art center, community art center type thing. Meghan, on January 30th, she came in with a flatter belly. I mean, you would think as time goes on, your belly would get bigger, not smaller. And then you get a grown belly by the time she was in the middle of the 15-minute engagement that she spent there. Like, she doesn't usually spend much time at engagement. She gets there, gets the photos that she's wanted, and then she leaves. The one thing that I could never understand with Meghan is that she would always show up dirty to engagements. I don't know if you guys noticed, but you can clearly see there's a stain on her dress here, like she dropped something wet or something. She was always looking like a mess. And it's terrible because I just realized this, that you can totally see the outline of the cushion right here on the dress. I mean, especially here where it's puffed out, you see the space, and it's like, I can completely see your prosthetic. Paula Martin says, MeghansMole, did you balance your cup of tea or coffee on your bump? I did that, but I would also put like my jelly bellies or like my candies. I like sour keys. I would usually put those on my belly so like the sugar wouldn't go anywhere. And then I would grab my shirt and then go and, wipe myself over the counter or over the sink so I don't get sugar all over. I I definitely did do things like that. But the fact that Meghan, like, you don't hear about it from Meghan makes you really like question everything, because this is a woman who can't shut up about anything. This is a woman who has basically verbal diarrhea of the mouth. Everything has to get out into the news with her. So let's get into this, because this was Harry and Meghan. Now, let me remind you guys, Meghan Markle and Harry always had this thing where they were claiming that Archie was going to be a private citizen. They were claiming that, and remember, Omid Scobie, this was 2 days after Archofficial's birth, right? Or when Gail King dropped off the child, who knows, or when Amazon delivered the package. I don't know where this child came from, but we're going to talk about that. And it says, as we expected, Harry and Meghan foregone a courtesy title for their child, all part of giving him as normal a life as possible. Love that Doria was there when the Queen met Archie for the first time at Windsor Castle today. And remember, it was, let me pull this up here. Now, I want to remind you guys that it was Omid Scobie who shared the image of the Queen and Prince Philip staring at what Tom Bower had said was a shawl in the hallways of the palace. Basically, I never believed this photo. I have always believed this photo is 120% a fake, fraudulent, phony photograph. I don't believe this photo. I don't believe that the Queen and Prince Philip would just be walking around down the hallways of the palace while these three are doing their bummy photo call, this crummy con artist photo call, right? But it was Omid Scobie who put out this photo originally. Okay, I want you guys to remember that for sure. So, first of all, why do I think this photo is crap? Because number one, Doria is very short. Here, if she stood up straight, she would be at the same height of Harry's nose, basically. And then also, I want to know where Harry's getting his pants tailored, because you can see, like, what, did Meghan tailor his pants for him? You can see that there's been some kind of weird photoshopping done. Is it to add Prince Philip into it? I don't know what's going on. I don't believe this photo at all. And who they named, they said that this photo was taken by Chris Allerton. And Chris Allerton has made his social medias all private, right? You can't even ask him about these photographs or anything like that. They were looking at a foal. There was this tweet going around, and I think it was mine from like a very, very long time ago when I first started off on Twitter, saying that this is Photoshop, and it was the Queen and Prince Philip looking at a foal at the Windsor Horse Show instead, and that's been edited and pasted into this. Look at how fuzzy it is around Harry. Yeah, I never believed this. And the thing is that I've never understood why the royal family's never been like, no, this photo never happened. The fact that, never complain, never explain, stay silent. And it's kind of like, well, there are some things you can't be silent about, especially when it comes to the line of succession and children that are allegedly part of it. But let me show you what Harry wrote in Spare about Meghan's birth, because I have this for you guys and we're going to talk about it. But before I get to that, I just wanted to show you Harry and Meghan presenting a doll to the world, okay? And we're supposed to believe.
Does he take after? Does he look like anyone?
We still haven't figured that out.
Everyone says the baby's changed so much over 2 weeks. We're basically sort of monitoring how the changing.
Look at this thing. It's not even that's a doll. That is, I don't care who you are, that is a freaking doll, okay? No movement at all.
Process happens over this next month, really. But his looks are changing every single day.
Yeah.
So who knows?
And how you find parenting generally? Is it still a special moment?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, parenting is amazing.
Parenting is amazing. You're only supposed to be parents for 2 days. That's it, allegedly. But we're supposed to believe that Meghan Markle did not want the big moment that Diana and Catherine had. I mean, this is the woman who loves to copy everything Diana does. I'm supposed to believe this raggedy trollop who's obsessed with the press did not want this moment in front of the Lido wing. That right there tells me that she was hiding something. The fact that Meghan Markle did not want to step out to the hospital and have this press, this is what Meghan has always lived for. She has always wished to have this many cameras on her. And yet, no, she didn't want to do that. It's very telling. It is very, very telling to me. I'm just saying. That was just a very big pointer there. But also, before I get into that, let me also remind you guys that Archofficial's birth announcement is one of the only birth announcements in royal history to not have 4 witness signatures. Now, this is the Queen Elizabeth's birth announcement. This was when she gave birth to Princess Anne. And this proclamation was placed on the gates of Clarence House, where she was born on August 15th, 1950, because Buckingham Palace was being renovated. But what do you notice? The Queen was not even exempt from royal protocol and standards and what was going on. Okay? Even the Queen, with all of her children, had 4 doctor witness signatures on the birth announcement. Here is Charles's birth announcement when he was born, dated, and here 4 doctors' signatures. They even put their degrees, like what they were: DA, MB, what is this, HRCOS, FRCOS, I think that is, and like MD. You see, there is no difference. The Queen was not exempt to this at all. Here we go. When Prince Edward was born, once again, there are doctors' signatures on the announcements. And then we have Prince William. When he was born, announcements, there were signatures. We have Prince Harry's birth at the Lido wing, and has once again 4 1, 2, 3, 4. His actually has 5 signatures. Okay. And okay, can I just make this funny pointer here? I gotta point this out because this is hilarious. And this is very, like, maybe this is a sign and should have been a sign about the man or the cuckold ginger doofus and the type of person he was going to become. Because look, Harry was born. I can't stop laughing at this. It's too funny. Harry was born at 4:20. Come on. Is that not a sign that he was born at 4:20 p.m.? That was giving you a red flag right there. Like, this kid is going to be a pain in the ass. Okay. Arnold Geezer, thank you, my darling, for the super sticker. That's very kind of you. Thank you, sweetheart. So I just find it very funny. Like, if that was me, I would have been like, whoa, that's a sign there that Harry is going to be a real pain in the ass. He was born at 4:20. Now, for those that don't know and don't know why I'm cackling like a deranged ostrich right now, it's because for 420 is a date for stoners, okay? 420 is also a certain birthday of an old German ruler who was not very nice, right? He had a big party and stuff like that. Yeah, did a lot of bad people to Jewish people. You know who I'm talking about. Yes, that should have been like that should have been like a big red flag. Like, this kid is going to be a pain in the ass. Heads up, okay? Just my opinion, that's all. But then let me continue on here. So then also William and Catherine, their children had 4 witness doctor signatures also. But Harry and Meghan, they posted their birth announcement to Instagram before The royal family could even put a plaque or announcement outside on one of the palace's doors. When the announcement of archofficial was finally being put up, it was like nearly 4 p.m. And hold on, where am I here? Let me just get out of this for a second. I just wanted to show you. Why can't I get out of these photos? Oh, here we go. I just wanted to show you what Archie's announcement looks like with no signature, absolutely nothing, nothing at all. Archie's signature birth announcement had no signatures, nothing. Let me just type this up. Let me just grab it here for you guys. And the thing is that also with archofficial, his birth records, his actual birth records are, they're sealed. So you can't see anything about it. Whereas you can access William's birth records, you can access like the, what am I talking about? Like the birth certificate. That's what I mean by birth records. You can see the birth certificate. You can see everything. But just for some odd reason, not archofficials. Now, doesn't that tell you everything right there? The fact that it's all hidden. This is, look, this was Archie's announcement. The Queen and the royal family are delighted at the news that Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex, was safely delivered of a son at 5:26 a.m. Her Royal Highness and her child are both doing well. It's like everyone knew this was nothing but a bunch of fraud. Now, if the Queen had to have 4 witness signatures, who says that, you know, it shouldn't be the same for Harry? But for some odd reason, Harry was allowed to bend the rules always. He was always being coddled. So let me read this to you, because what I find interesting is that despite Doria staying with them, waiting for the baby to come, there wasn't any Doria at the hospital with them. Why wouldn't your own mother be at your side when you're giving birth? Why? I don't understand. So let me read this to you. And this is from Prince Harry's own book, Spare. This is on page 416, and I'm going to read it out to you. I'm going to stop at some parts because I have some of my own questions. But let us remind everyone of what Harry says was Meghan's birth story. Okay? Let's remind everyone of all of this nonsense. So it says, Doria was staying with us, waiting for the baby to come. Neither she nor Megs ever strayed far. None of us did. We all just sat around waiting, going for the occasional walk, looking at the cows. Oh, does that mean Harry looked at himself in the mirror? Maybe that was it. When Meg was a week past her due date, the comms team and the palace began pressuring me. When's the baby coming? The press can't wait forever, you know. Oh, the press is getting frustrated? Heaven forbid. Meg's doctor had tried several homeopathic ways to get things moving, but our little visitor was just intent on staying put. I don't remember if we ever tried Granny's suggestion of a bumpy car ride. Finally, we said, let's just go and make sure nothing's wrong, and let's be prepared in case the doctor says it's time. Right? You guys are already like, this is a bunch of crap here. This is a bunch of crap. We got into a nondescript people carrier and crept away from Frogmore without alerting any of the journalists stationed at the gates. It was the last sort of vehicle they'd suspected we'd be riding in. A short time later, we arrived at the Portland Hospital and we were spirited into a secret lift, then into a private room. Our doctor walked in, talked it through with us, and said it was time to induce. Meg was so calm. I was calm too, but I saw 2 ways of enhancing my calm. 1, Nando's chicken, brought by our bodyguards. 2, a canister of laughing gas beside Meg's bed. I took several slow, penetrating hits, Meg bouncing on a giant purple ball, a proven way of giving nature a push, laughed and rolled her eyes. Yeah, okay, junkie. All right. Yeah, I bet you they're all like just standing around and watching what the surrogate is doing. This is all nonsense. It is all nonsense. Because let me show you. They said that they went through a private door, right? They went through a private gate. Should I just show the video now? Let me show the video now. Okay, let me show the video now because a nurse came out. Okay, a nurse came out and actually debunked this. Let me find the video for you guys. Here we go. Oh, wait, I can't do that one. Oh, here we go. Okay, I grabbed the wrong screen because then you guys can all see it. So here we go. This was a doctor. This was a nurse who actually worked at the Portland. It's a minute 50. Listen to what she has to say, and then I'll go back to Harry's ridiculous birth story of Archofficial. I know Meghan is a complete ding-dong for sure, but listen to this.
The Harry and Meghan documentary. There's a lie in there that is so infuriating to me. I can't even. But one lie I know for sure, because it is my business, is when she talks about the Portland hospital, which is where she gave birth to Archie. Now, the Portland hospital is a terrible hospital. Let them come for me. I have receipts. I work as a parenting coach, and sometimes that involves being there for the birth, being there in the weeks after the birth, being a hands-on maternity nurse person. I have lots of clients who want to give birth at the Portland hospital because it's the celebrity hospital. And I tell them absolutely not. It's a terrible hospital. Quite frankly, it's dangerous. If they want a private birth, they can go to the Kensington wing at the Chelsea and Westminster, or they can go to the Lindo wing at St Mary's, which is where the royal family deliver. Because the Portland hospital doesn't have an emergency department. So if you are a high-risk birth or something happens during that labour to either you or your baby, there's no crash team, there's nothing. They will call an ambulance and you'll be sent to the nearest NHS hospital. So when Meghan was talking about, the emergency department, that's why we couldn't do the photograph in front of the hospital, there is no emergency department. That's an absolute lie. Also, when she said, my doctor works out of the Portland, so that's where I had to deliver, another lie. All those doctors are private doctors. They will go to whichever hospital you want to deliver, and you will pay for the room, for the labour, the C-section, theatre room, etc. You pay for that and you pay for the doctor. The doctors don't specifically work out of one hospital or another. They'll go wherever. You go to the Portland if you want clout, which is why I don't work with clients who insist on delivering at the Portland. I don't know why she lied about this, but she lied.
There you go. There you go. And as I said in the chat as the video was rolling, I did mention that Fergie gave birth at the Portland hospital and even stood outside the front and took photos for both of her daughters, both of them. So Meghan is completely full of shit. We all knew this, okay? But let's go back to the book because I just wanted to read that. You guys see that. But let's go back to Harry's ridiculous, yeah, this is wild. So where was I here? He took several penetrating, yes, okay. I took several more hits and now I was bouncing too. When her contractions began to quicken and deepen, the nurse came and tried to give some laughing gas to Meg. There was none left. The nurse looked at the tank, looked at me, and I could see the thought slowly dawning. Gracious, the husband had it all. Yeah, okay, Harry, you're a total junkie. I'm sorry, but the fact that Harry put that in there, Meghan is going to use. I told you when this book came out, Meghan put this out because she is going to use all of this against him when she divorces him. Okay, this is her plan. He has now put out that he abuses drugs, that he has so little self-control that even when he's at a hospital, when his wife was allegedly given birth, that he was too busy getting stoned. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Sorry, I said meekly. Meg laughed. The nurse had to laugh and quickly changed the canister. Meg climbed into a bath. I tried on soothing music, Diva Primal. She remixed Sanskrit mantras into soulful hymns. Primal claimed she heard her first mantra in the womb. How the hell? See, Harry is an idiot and Meghan is an idiot too. I always side-eye a person who claims to be like a healer and says, oh, I remember I heard this in the womb. Bitch, you did not hear nothing in the womb. All you could hear was blood and like a heart pumping going like that's what it sounds like on those little monitors. Like, shut the hell up, okay? You didn't remember anything from the womb. Shut up. I'm sorry, but this is the most ridiculous thing ever. And this is the kind of crap that like Harry and Meghan would fall into and like think that they're like, oh my God, I can't stand it. I'm sorry. Let me continue on. In our overnight bag, we had the same electric candles I had arranged on the garden the night I proposed. Now I placed them around the hospital room. I also set a framed photo of my mother on the little table. Meg's idea. Time passed. Hour melted into hour. Minimal dilation. Meg was doing a lot of deep breathing for pain. Then the pain breathing stopped working. She was in so much pain that she needed an epidural. The anesthesiast hurried in. Off went the music, on went the lights. Whoa, vibe change. He gave her an injection at the base of her spine. Still, the pain didn't let up. The medicine apparently wasn't getting to where it needed to go. He came back, did it again. Hold on a second. I can tell you for a fact that I have told you guys my story of when I was pregnant and when the anesthesiologist couldn't get the anesthetic in properly. Like, I don't know if this woman is just like stealing other people's stories and stuff like that. Like, this is ridiculous, but let me keep going. Now things both quietened and accelerated. Her doctor came back 2 hours later, slipped both hands into a pair of rubber gloves. This is it, everybody. I stationed myself at the head of the bed, holding Meg's hand, encouraging her. Push, my love. Breathe. The doctor gave Meg a small hand mirror. I tried not to look, but I had to. I glanced. I saw a reflection of the baby's head emerging, stuck, tangled. Oh, no, please, no. The doctor looked up, her mouth set in a particular way. Things were getting serious. I said to Meg, my love, I need you to push. I didn't tell her why. I didn't tell her about the cord, didn't tell her about the likelihood of emergency C-section. I just said, give me everything you got. And she did. Okay, that is the biggest crock of crap I have ever heard in my life. Let me just tell you, if a child's umbilical cord was wrapped around a baby's neck, you would not, a drug-addled doofus who was sucking on huffing gas, who was sucking down laughing gas like his job depended on, like his life depended on it, is pretending that he is now a medical professional and knows that he said that he's standing and holding Meghan's hand. He's standing at the head of the bed. So how would he be able to see if a cord was wrapped around the baby's neck? You wouldn't be able to see that, first of all. And number two, you wouldn't be telling anyone to push if that had happened. Harry is a moron. And I'm sorry, after 2 hours, nobody, like, okay, look, I shouldn't say nobody, because there is the odd event where some people have had some wild birth stories or they haven't made it to the hospital in time and they've given birth like right away. I have heard that before, okay? So I can't say it doesn't happen. But I can only say for myself and for a vast majority of women, but speaking about myself only, when I was in labor with my first one, it was over 19 hours before he was born. It was like the craziest pain ever. You end up, the laughing gas starts to hurt your throat at some point. Like, it's crazy. This is all a bunch of BS, okay? This is dumb. This is why I thought we should read this again. And if you guys would like to read it without me cutting into it and giving my 2 cents, I did put the links in the comment section in the description box below. This is a free copy of Spare because hell, I ain't paying for this crap, okay? So you guys can go and read it there for yourself. And it also has some other good little things to pick up from in there too. I mean, Harry really shows what kind of an asshole he is. Elsbell says mine was 23 hours and 22 minutes. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Like, it is, giving birth is the craziest thing in, like, I can't even describe it, but I can tell you exactly what happened and what I went through from start to finish. My story won't change 3 or 4 times, okay? Kathy White says, I went from 1 centimeter to birth in 24 minutes. No gas, no epidural. She came too fast. Yeah, there are some that do have that issue. That, well, it's not an issue. It's more of a blessing, right? You're very blessed to go through that, and it just goes by quick. I wish I had something like that. But yeah, that is crazy. You guys are all sharing your birth stories. I love it. I love that you guys feel that this community is safe enough to share your stories and experiences also here. CCF, you want to delete your comment? It's easy. We'll delete it. We'll get rid of it. Here. If you'd like to do that, I've deleted your comment there for you, my dear. It's gone. Okay, let me finish this here for you guys because this is absolutely ridiculous. So after that, she pushed and she did. I saw the little face, the tiny neck and chest and arms, wriggling, writhing, life amazing. I thought, wow, it really all begins with a struggle for freedom. A nurse swept the baby into the towel and placed him on Meg's chest, and we both cried to see him, meet him. Weird, huh? You would think that parents would be like, oh, I can't believe I'm meeting you, but cried to see him and then meet him. It's very strange, huh? Very strange. But anyways, a healthy little boy, and he was here. Our Ayurvedic doctor had advised us that the first minute of life, a baby absorbs everything said to them. So whisper to the baby, tell the baby your wish for him, your love. Tell, we told. I don't remember phoning anyone, texting them. I remember watching the nurses run tests on my hour-old son, and then we were out of there. Into the lift, into the underground car park, into the people carrier, and gone. Within 2 hours of our son being born, we were back at Frogmore. The sun had risen and we were behind closed doors for the official announcement was released, saying Megs had gone into labor. I had a tiff with Sarah about that. You know she's not in labor anymore, I said. She explained that the press must be given the dramatic suspenseful story they demanded. But it's not true, I said. That didn't matter. Keeping people tuned into the show, that was the thing. After a few hours, I was standing outside the stables at Windsor telling the world it's a boy. Days later, we announced the name to the world, Archie. The papers were incensed. They said we pulled a fast one on them. Do you guys see how Harry blamed everything on Sarah? How they claimed that it was actually Harry and Meghan who didn't tell anything to the press. Harry literally said he didn't call and tell anyone. Why wouldn't you call and tell anyone about the birth of your first child? Are you crazy? The fact that you didn't says that never happened. And let me show you something else here because I just remembered this image. Hold on. This was on Netflix. Holding Archie. Let me find this image for you because this was an image that Meghan supposedly released. Now, this was when they got home, right? They were claiming in their Netflix stupid piece of crap, like bullshit documentary that this was when they had arrived home 2 hours later, okay? Let me show you something here. 2 hours later, I'm supposed to believe 2 hours later, Meghan gave birth and is wearing skin-tight pants? Skin-tight leather, looks like, pants? And a white top? No. And here's Doria cuddling the doll, pretending like they're a happy family. First of all, nobody is home within 2 hours of giving birth, okay? Because for the first day or so, they are running tests to make sure that the baby can hear properly, that the vision came in okay, that the bloodstream is okay. This entire story was a bunch of bullshit. And I'm supposed to believe that Doria wasn't at the hospital. Why wouldn't you want your mother at the hospital? My mother was with me at the hospital from the moment okay, let me tell you this. When my contractions started, okay, I didn't want to tell anyone yet because I didn't want to like freak out my mom. I didn't want to call her or anything because I didn't want her to get scared. Okay, I didn't want her to be like, because my mom, you tell her, she would have been like, oh my God. So I waited until a little bit later, and I called one of my friends and was like, hey, are you around? Because I think my contractions are getting really close together. Can you come and we got to go to the hospital? It was wild. But the thing is that my mom was with me throughout everything. She was there like through the epidural, through like everything. Okay. Every single, like, it was crazy. So the fact that Doria wasn't there says a lot. Did Harry and Meghan go pick up the baby from the surgeon and rip it from its arms and just be like, hello, it's here? Right? Because this is not, first of all, this isn't even a real baby. That dog's wondering, where's this new plastic thing from? That plastic smells very plasticky, probably straight out of China. They probably should have aired that baby out of the box so it didn't have that very plastic smell to it. I don't know. But this is absolute crap. That was Harry's birth story of Archofficial. Okay? Absolutely ridiculous. The thing that I'm wondering here is that, I'm sorry, Doria looks like she is 3 sheets to the wind. Let me show you this other photo that I have. It's from the same one, but it's just Doria holding this child. And this is a doll, first of all. Let me tell you, personally, myself, I think that this is the same doll that they used during the birth announcement at Windsor Palace in the hallway. This is just the same doll that had the beanie over its head, I feel like. And that's it. I feel like this is the same doll. And Doria looks like she is 3 sheets to the wind. Okay, she looks like she is high. DL says there is no way Meghan could sit like that after giving birth. Definitely not. If she had a natural birth, a vagine birth, your vagina would be on fire. You wouldn't be sitting like closed leg like that, all tight. No, you'd be sitting on ice pads. You'd have those other cooling pads on. If you're like others, like myself, who had to have an emergency C-section, you definitely wouldn't be sitting like that either because your guts would be hurting. Okay. Yeah, you'd be bleeding through the big pads. And let me tell you, those pads that they have at the hospitals that they give you are amazing. They're huge, massive. She couldn't even walk yet. Yeah. We're supposed to believe Meghan got an epidural. She gave birth. We're supposed to believe she had a natural vaginal birth. The child had the cord wrapped around its head, and they still were out in under 2 hours, and Meghan's wearing tight pants. I'm sorry, but when I had my epidural placed in, I had to have a catheter put in because I could not feel anything from the waist down for at least 8 hours. I couldn't feel anything, nothing at all. So I was like, ooh, I peed that much once they took out the catheter. But yeah, this does not look like a happy family. And I don't understand why we don't see a photo of Meghan holding her newborn, right? You would think she's a newborn mother. She's a mother who just had her first child. Meghan would be holding the baby, but I've never seen a photo of Meghan holding the newborn Archofficial. Yeah, look, so many of you are like, yeah, catheter. Yeah. Yeah, I barely got leggings in after when I left the hospital, I made sure I brought like a loose dress, very loose, like summer dress. And that's what I wore. I didn't wear tight pants. I didn't even bother going near white because of the amount of blood that you are losing after giving birth. I call it a freaking crime scene. That's what it honestly looks like. There's just so much still coming out of you that it's wild. And yes, she never had the pregnancy waddle. She never even, she's never had any of the actual symptoms a pregnant woman would have. I wore a maternity dress at home. I just wore like one of my loose fitting dresses. I was lucky that like I didn't really need maternity clothes until I was like near the 6.5 mark line. But yeah, I wore loose clothing, and for a while too, because you don't lose your stomach right away. Your stomach takes a little bit of time to go down and get flat. Like I think it took, like for me, I think it took at least a month for it to like go down a bit. It takes a while. This doesn't happen. And these photos that Meghan has released are going to all come to bite her in the ass. Okay. And especially for someone who claimed that she had postpartum preeclampsia, you wouldn't be at home like this. You'd still be in the hospital. Yeah. The mainstream media refuses to report the inconsistencies. Always. Always. It is crazy. Well, I thought that we should come on here. This is why I thought we should do an old geezer says I'm learning so much about childbirth. My apologies if I'm making you sick or anything about all of this. Feels like you're in a session of biology, doesn't it? My apologies, my darlings, if I have turned anyone's stomach today. But I feel like since Meghan always wants to open the door and have us talk about her faux pregnancies, well, we might as well really talk about the truth about these faux pregnancies and how it never happened. But yeah. That's why I thought we should refresh everyone's memory of how little artificial was delivered by the stork and how Meghan allegedly never gave birth and why these children are within the line of succession when they have no business being in the line of succession. Interesting, right? Very interesting. At this point, it is my opinion that not only should Harry be removed from the line of succession because if he has shown that he is treacherous, he is a traitor, he will lie, cheat, and steal and do anything to get his own way. I feel like himself and his phantom surrogate-born hostage children that nobody ever sees should be removed also. Harry and Meghan should also be forced to repay the taxpayers back for their portion of money that was spent on their fraudulent wedding. They received that huge wedding on the basis that they were going to be working senior royals, and they weren't. Harry and Meghan don't deserve anything. They don't deserve any connection to the royal family. But my opinion here is that as long as Harry and Meghan are still listed on the royal family website, as long as they're as long as there's a hyperlink to their own personal website where you can get more information, a part of me feels like King Charles is still sort of like, I don't know, taking care of them. I know that there are higher powers to be that are probably backing them, or like dark, shadowy figures who want to destroy the monarchy who are probably backing them, but this is wild. I feel like something crazy, like, yeah, we don't know, right? We don't know, but I don't believe that Harry and Meghan have been able to sustain themselves with the lifestyle that they have. And where are they really making money? We found out recently that Charles was still paying for their security, despite Harry and Meghan going on Oprah and lying about needing security and not being safe, right? So we know that they will lie about everything. So everything needs to be questioned when it comes to Harry and Meghan. Lulu's mom says, Molly, would anyone really recognize those kids as royals even if they remained with titles? No. Nobody would recognize them. That's the thing. But also Harry and Meghan are doing the same. Like, we're in so much danger because of who we are connected to. Okay, well, remove the titles. Remove it. Nobody would know who Archofficial and Invisibet are. Nobody would have any idea. But then also, those kids are being brought up in the USA. They have no connections to the UK, the royal family, nothing. And if anything, Harry and Meghan are probably poisoning them against the royal family. So why should they be titled? Why should they be listed within the line of succession? Why? They should be taken out for sure. Michelle DeGroot says they blow through so much money, you'd have to think where they're getting it. I also think they're broke. Definitely. I don't believe that Meghan is getting a third season from Netflix until I see something from Netflix themselves, an announcement. I don't believe anything that's coming out. I think that Meghan is slowly starting to separate herself from Harry, and maybe we might see. It has been 7 years. 3 years goes by quick. Maybe there might be a divorce at the 10-year mark, because in California, when you divorce at the 10-year mark, you are what's the word I'm looking for? You are like, you can get more money out of your spouse. You can get more out of like what you deserve, but whatever. Yeah. We should talk about African parks for sure. We need to talk about how Invictus is now having issues and how there's missing money from Invictus. We need to talk about how much of a scam Archewell is. Why is there a UK British prince like meddling in American politics, American freedom of rights of information? Like, why? Right now, Harry is in China, shucking and jiving and dancing for the Chinese, and he's got his hands out wanting money for Travelist from them. Obviously, he's flown there on probably a private jet and is talking about climate change and having to save the climate. Yeah, okay, get lost. 50-50 in California. 50-50 after they got married, though. Meghan has no access or to anything that Harry had before they got married in California. He should know that. So it's just 50-50 from the time that they have gotten married, basically. But yeah, cover all of it, Molly. I will for sure, Maureen. I will for sure. But yeah, I thought today we would go over Archie's birth and how stupidly fake and, made no sense at all. But we should talk about that. And also, we should have gone over, we should go over some other things here. Marie, thank you, my darling, says, Hairball and Sugar said she breastfed. No way was she breastfeeding. And I was leaking, had special bras. She never said about her pumping milk, not a word. You know what's also interesting is that Meghan made that, let me show you here. Birth of Archie. There we go. Let me find this, because this was this was 5 months after Meghan Markle allegedly gave birth to Archofficial, okay? And she shows up at a SmartWorks event. Now, this would be a nightmare to any breastfeeding mother, okay? I breastfed for a very short amount of time, but because I wasn't producing enough, I had to supplement with formula. Molly, you should do ASMR. Multiple of you guys have said that now a couple times, but let me show you. No breastfeeding mother would be wearing a tight white shirt, and Meghan was wearing a thin bra because at some points you could see her nipples through her white shirt. Let me tell you, no new breastfeeding mother would be doing this. Why? Because you would be leaking all through your shirt, okay? I remember I had this thing where, like, if I was away from my little one, this was like when he was about a month old. If I was away from the little one and it was like close to milk time, like you could feel like it starts leaking out. It's crazy. Like, the human body works in the most mysterious yet magical ways. It is absolutely like wild. But yeah, I was using like those little cotton pads to catch the leaks and everything. And then, like, okay, let's talk about breastfeeding too. Breastfeeding, and when your nipples get all sore and rough and red, and then it would hurt because the baby would be like latching onto it. There are certain pains you go through as as a new mother that nobody ever talks about, that you would only know as a new mother who gave birth. You would know that your nipples would start hurting because the whole latching thing and then the baby catching. I'm like, it hurts. Your nipples get sore. You got to put cream around it. Like, it was the worst. And if you had a baby, you would actually know all this. But Meghan Markle, she would never talk about any of this. Why? Because none of these alleged children that Meghan wants to claim artificial Invisibet passed through her body. And I am saying that as a fact. Meghan Markle, I am saying this to you right now. And if you have a problem against that, well, come at me, bitch. I don't know. But you have never given birth to artificial or Invisibet. Those children have no place within the line of succession. And let's be honest, they shouldn't even be there. You even suck, Duchess of Sucks. But yeah. Anyways, my darlings, that's basically what I wanted today's live to be about. I know I usually keep it to like 30 to 40 minutes, and it's about like an hour today. My apologies. Lainey Queen says she will talk about where'd it go? She will talk about stuff after watching your videos, Molly. I know, right? Keep an eye out for that, because I will bring it. I'm petty like that. I would be like, bitch, I said this first, okay? Anyways, my darlings, any questions before I run here? Because this mommy needs to go get some stuff ready before her little one comes back home from school. Look at this. The pain of latching on. Yeah, that was the worst. My nippies were so like sore. I will never no, thank you. No, thank you. I just honestly just grabbed my boobies just thinking about the pain. Like, oh my goodness. Lulu's mom, thank you so much for being here today. You guys, I appreciate you all so much for being here. I really love doing these lives, and I love that you guys are enjoying coming and joining me here and having some fun with all these individuals here. We are an amazing community. Don't forget about the hemorrhoids. Look, I was lucky enough that I didn't get that. Okay, knock wood. I did not get the hemorrhoids at all. I'm very lucky, because I heard some horror stories, okay, that some women, or like even some women that what is it, when they would be giving birth and they had to get like stitched up, like their vagina had to get stitched up. Oh, yeah, I'm very lucky that I didn't go through any of that. But yeah, my apologies to all the men in the community, in the chat here, that had to listen to all of this birth stories and all the little details that you probably don't want to know. But as a woman who has actually given birth, I'm going to come over here and continue debunking all of the bullshit that Meghan puts out about this pregnancy until the royal family do something about it, or someone comes out and says, look, she didn't give birth, okay? She didn't. Because we all know that she didn't. And yeah, I'm just going to be that pain in the ass for her. But anyways, my darlings, I am so glad you guys got to spend the last hour with me. To those of you that are watching this on the replay, yeah, an old geezer is still here, so he listened into everything. We've got some other men in here. But yeah, it's been wild. But you guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. Meghan is learning a lot with you, Molly. I bet you she is. The funniest birthing story ever. I had 8 children. Ha ha ha. She didn't birth. 8 children is crazy, Noreen. That is wild. Look, shout out to you, mama. Because the one was, that's it. That's enough for me. No, thank you. Tomorrow, Rachel will explain her pregnancies inspired by all the information here. I bet you she will too. But if she does, we're going to come here and call it out. Okay. Look, big ups to anyone who has more than one child. I applaud you for going through that pain more than once. I could not do it. Okay. I could not. But my darlings, I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you again so much for being here. I appreciate and love each and every single one of you. Thank you everyone for the super chats and super stickers. That's going to go to my little monster fund so we can go and buy him some toys. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks again for being here, my darlings. I hope you all have a great day. Bye.